Welcome to Reflections, a program where we discuss values and virtues for the transformation of the individual and the society in general. I am Father George Ehusani, and I have with me in the studio once again Professor Andrew Zamani. Professor Andrew Zamani is the president of the African Psychology Union, the whole of Africa. Once upon a time, he was president of Nigerian Psychological Association. He has served the whole area of clinical psychology. He has served at every level. Head of Department of Psychology, Dean of the Department of the Faculty of Social Sciences, Director,
Institute of Governance,
at the Nasarawa State University, KEFI. He has held all those positions. And now, I would say this is the top of the positions, President of the Africa Psychology Union. When is the election for the World Union? You know, because that I'll campaign for you.
Yeah, well, we are expecting to go to Australia.
Yes.
In 2032.
2032. Okay. There's still time for us to do the campaign. Great. And Professor Zamani is on sabbatical with us at Luke's Terra Leadership Foundation at our Psycho-Spiritual Institute of Luke's Terra Leadership Foundation. I'm proud to say he's on sabbatical with us now. Prof.
Thank you.
Welcome. I hope you are enjoying your sabbatical.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
Great.
I'm having swell time.
Yeah, good. Our students and staff will enjoy your presence.
Yeah.
Now, today, what I want to discuss with you, Prof, is I just read in the news, actually, earlier today, I just read in the news, this Nigeria newspaper had a headline, Red Alert. Nigerian youth hooked on drugs. That an alarming proportion of our young people are hooked on one kind of hard illicit drug or the other. And I sent you that article. They did quite some research, discussed with psychiatrists, discussed with clinical psychologists, discussed with social workers, discussed with people who man rehabilitation homes, and they say that a staggering number of our young people, they say 1 out of 4 young women and more of men, meaning more than 1 out of 4, maybe 1 out of 3 young men around are hooked on drugs. And then they are saying that a minimum of 70% of cases that go to psychiatric hospitals, clinical psychologists, are on account of drug abuse. And they spoke to some psychiatrists in some psychiatric hospital in Benin, in Lagos, and they say that as many as 90% of patients that come to their hospital, they are on account of drug abuse, and that they end up in hospital when the case gets beyond the level that the parents or ward can handle. The conclusion is that we are losing a generation of our young people to hard drugs. They said a high percentage, and overwhelming majority of those who ride Okadas in our cities, those who ride Keke Napep in our cities, artisans who work, those that work in motor parks, that a high percentage of them are on one illicit drug or the other, naming marijuana, tramadol, or cocaine, all kinds of things, including locally made concoctions that are highly psychoactive. So, what's going on? You're a clinical psychologist, you work with clinical psychologists across Africa. What's going on? We're about to lose, they say, we're about to lose a generation of our young people. Perhaps after our discussion, I mean, your group, the National Association of Clinical Psychologists, are meeting this week in Abuja. It is something to take very seriously and discuss. What's your opinion?
Well, thank you, Father, for being this sensitive. We cannot thank you enough for calling our attention to some of these issues that bedevil society and hinder our growth. I know this is the optimist time you and I are sitting on this set to discuss mental health issues with specific emphasis on drugs. What is going on? So much is going on. So much is going on. On the continental level, you know, the prevalence, the range of prevalence of drug abuse among young people is between 40 and 60%.
40 and 60% on the African continental
Continent.
level. Wow.
And you know, this is understandable because Africa is a den of poverty. Africa is a den of conflict. Africa is a theater of political rascality, and so you have leaders who are not sensitive to the yearnings of young people. What characterizes their lives and lifestyles is greed. And in order for them to continue to amass, in order for their family members, you know, to remain relevant, they do all that they can to ensure that not many people have financial capacity. They scuttle livelihoods. And so poverty,
they deliberately impoverish their
yes,
people.
So, you know, young people are impoverished. They make sure they don't create jobs. And you know from the Nigerian experience that from time to time when you have a new government, the first thing they place on embargo on is employment. You know, where do our young people get jobs? How do they enjoy their lives? How do they, you know, fulfill destiny? These are the questions. Now, I agree with you because I read that article that you sent to me. That article was very well researched. But come to think of it, it could even be more alarming
than what we read.
Yes, when you begin to think about street children. Father, why do you think that it is easy for a child to be recruited into terrorism and banditry? What makes it that easy? It's drugs. Why has it been possible in Nigeria for young girls, children, let's call them, to agree to be strapped with IEDs?
Drugs.
It's drugs. Because once you do that, they are in motion. They are zombies. Drugs. Why has banditry, why has terrorism persisted in Nigeria? What makes people so glad and so happy, so proud to be killers of other men?
Drugs.
In good conscience, no one does that. But because drugs are involved, it is possible. And so you see a bandit strapped with his own gun, of course,
with
ammunitions, aiming to kill. But that he doesn't use it. He just enjoys sometimes, you know, catching someone, apprehending someone, laying him on the floor, and slaughtering, as if he's slaughtering a cow. Right now we have stories from Kano that life is highly unsafe because most of the street children go about with knives. And what they do is to target people who look affluent. and to demand either money or their phones. If you don't, they stab, and nobody does anything. We have a situation in Nigeria where, due to political desperation, our political leaders intentionally recruit touts, political touts, people who will work for them, because in Nigeria that is what gives you your mandate. You know, your high index of intimidation of the opposition.
It's the number of thugs that you have.
Yes, and how do you maintain them? Drugs. Because if you put them in a drugged situation, they won't negotiate fees with you. It's whatever that you give them that they accept.
Because their reasoning is compromised.
It's compromised. This is where we are.
So you mean that it even somehow, in a criminal manner, it actually pays the politicians that these people are on drugs?
Oh yeah. Right now, this is the issue. The report is that Nigeria, is no longer, it is no longer a trade route for illicit drugs.
It's now a consuming nation.
Now, aside from that, is the fact that
now you said, before you go to the next one, we're saying that Nigeria is no more. Did you read some news item that says that somewhere in the north, it's an illegal airport that transports drugs from Colombia to this place, and that actually somewhere in the northwest that there are, those illegal airports, airstrips that planes are coming and going, and what they are dropping are drugs.
Yeah, because it has, this has to happen in order for banditry to thrive. I just told you that most of our bandits are on drugs. They are high and hooked on drugs. This is what enables them to do the heinous things that they do. And unfortunately, they don't gain much financially.
When you look at them,
yes.
I mean, it's like,
other than the commando celebration after they kill one or two people, or they're able to kidnap and then extort and then give returns to their masters. But these people are perpetually also impoverished. Now, back to the group of people that you just mentioned. We have all of us, most of us are in existential crisis right now. What is the meaning of life? Family is dysfunctional. Family is dysfunctional. Socialization right now is fractured. There are no value systems anymore that guide, so-called child upbringing. And so children are growing up without any sense of morality, any form of ethical orientation. And so, Father, it's possible for a young, maybe 10-year-old, to brush you on the street right now. Just to brush you on the street and would not mind that you're an elderly person.
No value system.
No value system. All right? Father, okay. Just to buttress the fact that we have a higher rate, than has been estimated. But this is a good effort. Just go through the social media. The number of girls and women that parade their nakedness, not for solicitation, but they just do it for fun. All right? Just look at me. This is me.
Is it coming out of this sense of hopelessness like you said, you mentioned existential crisis. The expert in logotherapy, Viktor Frankl, has
Yes.
spoken of existential nihilism.
Yes.
The feeling that life has no meaning.
Yeah.
Now, when people have been reduced to such a level of meaninglessness, near despair, what do they care about their bodies? Of course. What do they care about? You talk about young child brushing an adult. What does he care about adult? Because his own life, when an individual's life has no meaning, the next person's life definitely will have no meaning to him.
So there's no value for life.
Yes.
No value for life.
Yes. So, to what extent this kind of research you read, thanks to the journalists in this nation, I hope you know that BBC had done documentaries on this a few years ago, serious documentaries. Some of them focused on actually women in the northern part of Nigeria, including Puda women. This time it is across the country. In universities, in secondary schools, they said even in primary schools. What is the level of awareness do you think that leaders, those in positions of power in Nigeria today, have over all this? Are leaders aware that they are superintending over a system that is completely collapsing, over a lost generation? Are they aware?
Father, they are complicit.
Oh, no,
this is the issue.
It's not even a matter of awareness. They are actually complicit.
They are complicit. I just said it. They are complicit. They are just highly insensitive to the advocacy for them to have a rethink and for them to allow us the platform to redeem the situation. This is the problem.
How far have you gone in this whole making sure that psychology is a recognized profession in Nigeria? For many years, you have been fighting for that. I mean, a few gains have been made, but what about professionalizing psychology in Nigeria and it be well recognized, well rated, well remunerated? How far have you gone?
Well, Father, I thank you for this question, because each time, I reflect on my service at the Nigerian Psychological Association, I have every cause to thank God that, I did not waste the opportunities that my colleagues gave me. I did not betray their trust. The first thing that I did, and it lasted for very many years, was to ensure that I started a process of getting psychology to be gazetted as a civil service profession.
Okay.
And right now, our graduates from different universities, can apply for jobs
in the civil
service as
psychologists. Oh,
and retire as psychologists.
Okay, so that has been gazetted.
It has been gazetted.
Good.
We've had some frustration with the enabling laws, for psychology practice in Nigeria. 2 times we got to the presidency, but it wasn't assented. Now we are doing another round, and we believe and we trust God that this is going to be a success, because we've gone very, very, very far to ensure that the nation gets to know that if you do not mainstream psychology into the development process,
yes,
then
not just the healthcare ecosystem, but the development process.
Yes. And as the president of the Pan-African Psychology Union, I am pleased to inform you that, in a week's time, I will be hosting the entire African continent in Nigeria, for us to take a second look at the curricula,
Yes.
that we
Yes.
teach in different countries.
Yes.
See if we can harmonize, have a basic minimum academic standard by which we will have the portability of this profession all over Africa, so that if you are trained in Nigeria,
You can function in
you can
Zambia.
function somewhere,
Yeah.
because there is a very high need.
Yes.
And in Africa, we have just 3 or 4 major countries that offer
Serious training.
serious training in psychology. We want to expand that and to ensure that it happens. But following this, to address your major concern, because you are talking more about practice, you are talking more about skills for intervention.
Yes.
Next year, by God's grace, I intend to host a practitioners conference, where psychologists who are in clinical, psychologists who are in industrial, psychologists who are in educational, psychologists who are in psycho-spiritual,
Yes.
psychologists who are in different areas of specialization will now sit down and share their experiences with regards to intervention, give reports about what they have done. We will now identify, green areas, for intervention, and then organize specialized training to enable psychologists take on the developmental problems of Africa.
Very, very important.
Yes.
Before we came to the studio, remember this is what I was discussing.
Yes.
That when it comes to professionals like yours, let's not limit progress in the academics to how many journal articles you publish. Now,
I agree.
Oh yeah. So
agree.
let's do some more town and gown relationship.
Yeah.
We need psychologists who are trained in psychoanalysis, trained in behavior assessment, in the cognitive functions assessment and formulation and diagnosis. Psychologists who have learned all these skills, we need them to be involved in helping us to solve these problems we're talking about. Perhaps in another segment, we will discuss how you guys can really be involved in the development of our nation. From how can we be such a rich country with all the resources? And then I showed you a presentation that Nigeria today is rated as having the lowest life expectancy in Africa.
Yeah.
That we are last, meaning after Sudan, after Somalia, after Chad. Now, this is unacceptable with the resources, human and material, that we have. I mean, look at you emerging as the president of Africa Psychology Union. Look at top-level Nigerians in NASA, in UN, in Africa Development, everywhere. Then our country will have the lowest life expectancy, with the hopelessness that comes with that. So definitely professionals in the psychology area, I think we need to do a lot of work in order to how do I say, compel society to recognize the expertise we have that society needs.
Yeah. Actually, what is happening right now is really gladdening, because even with these obstacles, we have penetrated security circles, we've penetrated health circles, we are doing so much in the educational sectors that, the results are now glaring and people are asking for psychological services. But it will be better. It will be better if we have the enabling law, to ensure that the practice is regulated and that
standards, as you said,
standards are set,
yes.
The public is protected, practitioners are protected.
On this note, we'll be bringing this segment to an end. I have been speaking with Professor Andrew Zamani, President of the Africa Psychology Union, Professor of Clinical Psychology, Nasarawa State University, KEFI, and on sabbatical with us at the Psychospiritual Institute of Luke's Terra here. Prof, thank you for coming. We shall have another segment to continue this discussion.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.